The unexpected recent demise of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala at the relatively young age of 62 has sent shock waves through the worlds of finance, commerce, and economics. There is no doubt that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is the greatest investor in the history of the Indian stock market. Starting with a corpus of 5,000 rupees and a borrowed corpus at that, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala amassed a fortune of more than 40,000 crores, more than 40,000 crore rupees, solely through trading and investing, making him the most successful investor and the most successful trader in the financial history of the country. Today we shall try to dissect his understanding of the stock exchange, of the stock market. We shall try to analyze the magic methodology of the master of the market and try to find out what we can learn from it. Our understanding of the stock market is that it is a place where shares are bought and sold. Companies are listed in the stock market, and the shares of those listed companies are bought and sold in the market. This may sound rather simplistic, but this is exactly what the stock market is. However, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's concept of the stock market went far beyond this. It was very different. He did not see the stock market in simplistic terms as I have put it now. Instead, and this is something he was repeated of saying, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala called the stock market the temple of capitalism. The temple of capitalism. He saw himself basically as a devotee of this temple. And I think he was easily the most important devotee of this temple of Indian capitalism. This is what differentiates Rakesh Jhunjhunwala from practically every other investor. Investing and trading for Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was not a pastime, not a hobby, not even a profession. It was an all-consuming passion. Even more than that, even more than a passion, it was a religion. I think if we are to identify the true religion of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, it is the religion of investing and trading. Whenever he was asked, what is the stock market? Rakesh Jhunjhunwala used to answer, the stock market is a woman. I repeat, the stock market is a woman. The stock market is a woman. She is beautiful. She is fascinating. She is exciting. She is volatile. She inspires your dreams. She weaves spells. And above all, her ways cannot be predicted. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was successful because he was the perfect lover of the woman called the stock exchange. All you can do in the case of the stock market is what you can do in the case of a woman. You can fall under her spell. You can pursue her. You can woo her. You can love her. You can try to win her over. And if you know the game, if you're a master of the game, as Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was, she rewards you more than amply. As in the case of a woman, the only way to conquer is to surrender. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was so spectacularly successful in the stock market because he surrendered so completely to it. He was a 24/7 stock market guy. Throughout his waking life, the stock market was present. In his sleep, in his dreams, the stock market was present. It was his overwhelming passion. It was his magnificent obsession. He enslaved the stock market by first becoming a slave of the stock market. Did not Rakesh Jhunjhunwala burn his fingers? Of course he did. But when he did burn his fingers, he never blamed the stock market. He only blamed himself. He believed that the stock market can do no wrong. It is only the investor who makes mistakes. The stock market does not make mistakes. They say in Wall Street, if you want to find a friend, buy a dog. If you want to find a friend, buy a dog. But Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who operated in the Wall Street of India, who operated in Dalal Street, was a true friend to innumerable persons, to fellow traders, to fellow investors, to persons who wanted his guidance on trading and investing, to his own office staff, to the employees of the stock exchange, to the panwala, to the vada pavwala of Dalal Street. In fact, he was a large-hearted man whose tales of remarkable generosity are very much part of Dalal Street folklore. I will not get into them, but I wish to point out that he was very open about his investments. He was always willing to discuss his operations, his portfolio, his decisions, right or wrong. There was nothing secretive about him as an investor, as a trader. And we can now try to identify the keys to success in the stock market by analyzing, by dissecting and evaluating, by analyzing, dissecting and evaluating the life of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala as a trader and as an investor. This is something Rakesh Jhunjhunwala always repeated. Investing is better than trading. Not just investing is better than trading, investing is always better than trading. He advised those who approached him for guidance in the stock market to avoid trading. And when somebody told him that he was a supremely successful trader and he was advising people against trading, he very wittily said, पिताजी विस्की पीते हैं लेकिन बेटे से बोलते whiskey mana hai. The father drinks whiskey, But the father also tells the son that whiskey is banned, that you should not drink whiskey. To put it in Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's own words, trading is injurious to financial health. Don't try to make a fast buck. The stock market is a very dangerous place if you desire to make a quick buck. On the other hand, it's a wonderful place if you desire to build a fortune in the long run. Decide to become a long-term investor. When Rakesh Jhunjhunwala breathed his last at the age of 62, his net worth was more than 40,000 crores. I think it was something like 50,000 crores, including everything he had, his investments outside the stock market as well. If he were to live for another 30 years, if he were to breathe his last at the age of 92, I am sure that his net worth would become by that time 40 lakh crores. I am sure that this may sound absurd to you. But if he were to continue for the next 30 years to invest in the same manner, his total net worth would become something like 40 lakh crores. It may sound insane, it may sound crazy, but that's how the stock market works. The stock market is the place where the might of compounding is demonstrated to its full extent. Choose your investment carefully. It is this choice which is going to make you or mar you. Choose it very carefully. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala used to say, choose your shares as carefully as a jeweler chooses his gems. The first thing that you have to decide when you buy a share is to make sure that the company whose share you buy has a clean management. Are they ethical? Are they genuine businessmen? Or are they fly-by-night operators? Do they cook the books? There is no point in buying the share of a company which is run by an unethical management. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala used to read a balance sheet at a glance. But please don't do it yourself. You should read the balance sheet meticulously. Does the balance sheet evidence that the health of the company is good? How to read a balance sheet? We shall be discussing this in detail in another video. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala used to concede that predicting the future is difficult. But still, you have to try to do it. Does the industry segment seem to have a bright future? Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was fond of reminding us that the past is never a complete indication of the future. So you have to work out the likely future with the variables available, not depend on the performance in the past alone to predict the future. There is the old saying, don't put all your eggs in the same basket. Diversify your portfolio. The portfolio of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is one of the most diversified portfolios in Dalal Street. This way you hedge your bets, you lower the risk, and you ensure that you have greater chances of succeeding. Even the most brilliant investors can lose money in the stock market. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala himself made mistakes. lost money. But he was philosophical about his losses. If you cannot be philosophical about your losses, it's better not to enter the stock market. Any investor in the stock market has to be constantly prepared for setbacks. Having said that, I would like to point out that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala learned from his own mistakes. This is what set him apart from most or almost all of the other investors. Make mistakes, be philosophical about losses, but always make it a point to learn from your own mistakes. Becoming emotionally attached to your shares is an excellent recipe for disaster. Investors who are emotion driven almost always go bankrupt in the long run. You are in the game to make money, to build your wealth. Don't forget that. A share that you buy is an investment, nothing more, nothing less. Don't mistake it for your soulmate or your life partner or even your pet dog. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala used to say that the stock market is the last place for you to demonstrate your emotions. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala repeatedly proclaimed that he was emotionally attached to his parents, his children, his wife, his girlfriend, but not to his shares. And that was how it had to be. Nobody can be a success in the stock market without being an eternal seeker of knowledge. You must be hungry for information, hungry for knowledge, not merely about the stock market, not merely about the companies listed in the stock market, but about practically everything under the sun and even beyond it, including political developments, including the monsoon, including South Asian affairs, including international events. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala used to spend a substantial part of his working day reading books and periodicals, scanning the internet. No doubt he was always one of the most highly informed and one of the most highly knowledgeable of men. Remember the old dictum, knowledge is power.